Hello everybody and welcome to the final installment of Jeb Lost His Keys. Well, the title is kind of mismatched now that Jeb has found his keys in the previous episode, which you can watch when you click the icon on the right hand corner. Our beautiful little transfer ship, the Naginata, is on its way back to Kerbin. And, well, in order to get our encounter just right, I have set up a maneuver node in the middle of the trajectory somewhere. And that's what we're going to do right now, is adjusting our trajectory. You can see the encounter there. And I'm performing a small burn so that the periapse is getting in a more, well, let's say comfortable position for getting into a safe orbit around Kerbin. This is looking promising. Let's just hope that the game won't kind of change the periapse as soon as we are in Kerbin's sphere of influence. You can see me here zooming through space thanks to the magic of time acceleration. And you may have also seen in the top left corner my alarm clock settings, where you may have already seen a maneuver node or some other thing for my purple pain mission. If you don't know already, those missions are time synced, so the Jeb Lost His Key series and the Purple Pain series are in the same save game, so they are basically in the same universe. So I had to wait for the Naginata to return to Kerbin until I had finished all my stuff I had to do on Eve, and yeah. We are now at Kerbin, and once again we're burning our engines. Those mighty fine, I think it's 14 nuclear engines burning like the nuclear hellfire they are. And of course, we get our stable orbit around our home planet. Jeb is ecstatic, now he can finally get back home into his home. Years of sleeping on the couch in Kerbal Space Center took their toll on him, but now he can finally get home. Assuming that his home still stands. He hasn't been there for a few years. Okay, enough about that. Let's do some maneuvering. What I'm going to do here is bringing my apoapse down by planning some aerobraking maneuvers. Now that we are in an orbit like this, it's much more safe to perform those aerobrakes. Since, well, if I would have done it by transferring from Joule, maybe a few things on the Naginata would have burned off, and I did not want to risk that. This is looking okay, and it was actually quite boring because you had to wait until you get into the atmosphere, then time accelerate only 4 times, and then get out of the atmosphere, adjust your periapse a little bit, and so on until you have, well, somewhere after 3 or 4, or I don't remember actually. Well, let's say after a few aerobrake maneuvers, we got a stable circular orbit, which I'm now just adjusting a little bit better. Okay, this is wobbling around thanks to the physical time acceleration, but we are now safe and in a close vicinity of our home. So it's time to get the crew and also the Yajiri spaceplane back to the Space Center. So how are we going to do that? With this! This is, keeping in the Japanese naming scheme, the Shoto. The Shoto is a single stage 2 orbit carrier. And you're going to see what I mean with that in a few minutes. First of all, you have to endure another launch, which is, well, not as uncommon as those were in the past, when SSTOs were kind of hard to build. Well, they're still not that easy, but since everybody and their mother is currently building SSTOs, well, yeah, there you go. The Shoto is ascending into, well, out of the atmosphere actually. We're now far, quite up in the higher parts of Kerbin's atmosphere. And soon the rapiers are going to kick in rocket mode, which they have. And well, then it's just a matter of getting out of the soup and then circularizing and so on. You know the drill. If you don't, please tell me in the comments. Maybe I should do some tutorial video. Are there still players out there not familiar with Kerbal Space Program? Firing our engines. So this is just a circularization burn, which takes a bit of delta V, but not that much. And we have enough left for our rendezvous with the Naginata. You can see it on the left side. And then, of course, for our way back to the Space Center. This is, of course, the docking attempt on the Naginata. I did not bring a lot of RCS fuel, so I was kinda on the edge of my seat for this maneuver, but it worked out in the end. It worked out fine, and I'm just trying to get into sunlight so I can transfer the crew, and I'll also have a look at those beautiful creations of mine. Yes, I like them, and I hope you do too. I really enjoy those curvy, sci-fi, shapy things. Okay, time to get the crew over there into the crew compartments of the Shoto. And after we've done that, it's time to bring our bounty of science. Yes! This is going to further our cause of scientific exploration. And of course, let's enjoy once more the view of that trusty spaceship that brought us to all 5 moons of Jool and back. And then the final crew member will board the Shoto, and then we get down to the atmosphere. Well, not yet. There is still something we have to do. You may have noticed the docking port on top that has also opened. But before we can get to that, let's get in there. There we go. And boom! Science floating in. Okay, now that that's over with, let's get to the point where I told you about the SSTO carrier pod. Okay, now the Naginata is getting out of its docking bay cradle thingy. Since all the crew is already on board Shoto, this has to be driven with the probe core only. That's also the reason why we have that huge antenna in the front left-ish side of the Naginata. But since I'm assuming you're probably a revisiting user, thanks for coming again, by the way, I think you already know that. Slowly and steadily trying to put this thing on top. This is looking okay. And well, then it's time to leave the Naginata to its own devices. It too has a big probe core, so this can stay up there in orbit and wait for things to come. Maybe, I don't know. But the Shoto with the Yajiri on top has to get back to the surface. And well, in order to do that, of course, we have to lower our periapse enough so that we skim the atmosphere and lower our velocity so we can get down to the surface. Some of you may remember those space shuttle carriers. You know that modified Boeing 747 jumbo jets, which they used to ferry the space shuttle from one space center to the other? This was kind of the inspiration for the Shoto SSTO carrier, with the added bonus of getting into space on its own, not needing any rockets or stuff. We're already closing in, well, we're already in the atmosphere, and since we came up a little bit short, I had to activate the engines again, but that was not a problem because I had enough liquid fuel left. Actually, I had quite the reserve of liquid fuel, to be honest. Oxidizer, not so much, but liquid fuel I had in abundance. I like that word. Abundance. Just a beauty shot of the Shoto with the Yajiri attached flying across the mountains. Yes, those things are surprisingly aerodynamically stable. I tested it out, of course, in the spaceplane hangar, but you can never know with these things. Okay, on our final approach, nose is down, engines are off. We're probably going to have to turn them on again. I'm not really a plane guy, I'm more of that huge, humongous rocket kind of guy. You never would have guessed. But in this case, we're going to make a fine landing, I think. Well, I hope, otherwise we lose all our science, which would be bad. But this is fine. Well, look at that. A fine landing by a spaceplane carrying a spaceplane. Okay, Shoto and Yajiri have arrived safely, so has the crew, of course, and of course also so has Jab's key. Well, Gene Kerbin is probably even more ecstatic than Jab, because now he can finally kick him out of the space center. Jab can be glad that Gene won't charge him for staying for so many years. But on the other hand, Jab has also been a very, very reliable test pilot. Reliable in the sense that he always gets in the cockpit no matter how weird the contraption is. On our final taxiing maneuver, closing in on the hangar, and then another big space adventure is over. Jab lost his keys, a Joule 5 mission has now come to a close. But how many science have we brought back? Well, that is the question now, is it? Here we got another beauty shot of those dual plane arrangements. And let's see what we brought back. Ta-da! 19,044 points of science, which is much, I guess. On the other hand, I just checked with my Julish commission a few years back. I got more than 20,000 and a few hundred something science, so I kinda missed out on some biomes probably. But that doesn't matter. It was still a fun mission, and I enjoyed doing a Joule 5 once again, especially with a ship shaped as weird as the Naginata and a lander as versatile as the Yajiri. So I hope you also enjoyed this, and I hope you stay tuned for my next endeavors. So thanks for watching, goodbye.